All right, everybody, here we are live with Neve. It is a beautiful day. It is 10:23. Month is almost over. We're waiting on the presidential election. Everybody's heard enough about that the past week or two, so I think that we'll just avoid that topic. Hopefully, for whoever you are and wherever you are, your candidate that you choose will win, and you'll be happy. And if you're not happy, well, damn, I hate this thing. Gotta move my chair. Any rate, it is foggy here in New York. I don't see anything but fog. Can't see the city. Hell, I can't even see the bridge. That confounded bridge is gone. We have a great guest today. We have John Speer. He's joining us from Florida shortly. John he investigates poltergeists, ghosts, paranormal activity. He's had some measure of good luck with demonology. He apparently has the ability to chase the spell away from a demonized child, for example. I'm not sure how he could help me. Perhaps, I don't know, you get my hair to growing better. I'm kidding. He's been out. He's had, I have several video clips that we'll be running. And it's an interesting thing. I'm here to ask him how he got started. I have some stuff from last week that he most recently worked on, and I think he'd really like to hear that. So Pete, can you hear me? Nod your head if you can. No, apparently Pete's not yet on the feed. John? So on the right here, if you have any comments, questions, or anything like that, I'd love to hear them. You know, we are making some drastic changes to the program, and today's event is no different. So I'm going to have to sit here and entertain you guys for a little bit. So what would it be today? Cheap party tricks. I have a ball that I can balance on my nose. Let's just talk about Halloween.
Can you hear me?
Right now, Halloween's about a week away. It's right before the election. So it's a particularly spooky year. And there's, one thing I've noticed with the election this year, I haven't heard crap about any of the creepy clowns out there roaming around, lurking in the park. I was going to dress up as one and run across the field at the Highlands Film Fest, but it was a little cold that night, and I couldn't get my nose attached. But I think I'll try it again next time. About 3 years ago, I did a show with the lovely Velva Harity down in Pinellas Park, Florida. Excuse me, not Pinellas, St. Petersburg, brain fart. And we talked about ghosts, and she's a certified Jungian therapist. So we talked, she handled all the heavy lifting in it, and I was there for comedic support. I'm of the mind that creepy clowns terrify people, because some people just hate clowns. It's depending. I mean, we have the images of John Wayne Gacy. We have so many things like that, and it was quite it was a good interview. So if you're interested in it, it is available on Velva Harity's website. She does a lot of good work, and her page is fun. So check it out and give a listen. Also, if you're in the St. Petersburg, Florida area, go ahead and get Belinda Davis Galleries. Give her a call. She's a great painter, and she does all things Florida very well. In the next week or two, too, I'm going to be showing you some shots of one of our local photographers who's done lots of shots of me. I've been working with Nancy for at least 5 years now, I think. Excuse me. And she gets the right shot, because if she can make me look good on film, she can make anybody look great. She has a great eye. She has a wonderful sense of humor. And she's just a joy to work with. Energetic, talented, and most importantly, talented. Did I say talented? Yes, I did. Great person, great human being, and I have some work of hers that I'll be showing you. Probably next week we'll be showing that. So anybody in the Asbury Park or Metro New York area, if you have a rock and roll band and you want somebody to take your picture and make it look damn good, better than you could expect, check out Nancy Kravis Photography. She is just a wonderful human being, and if she, like I said, if she can make me look good, make anybody look good. Let's see, what else? I don't know if you can hear the foghorn blowing. It's incredibly
Can you hear
beautiful
me?
today. Just foggy. I can't see the bridge. I can barely see a car driving over it right now. It's cool. I'm enjoying it very much. And that's all I got to say. So, Julie, can you hear us on the show?
I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
Is that a yes? If
Yes.
you want to
Can
join
you
us,
hear
Jules,
me?
come on.
Can you hear me?
I don't hear you yet. Hang on. Okay, I'm going to bring Jewel Tate on. She's coming any minute. Any rate, I hear
Hello.
very little other than the foghorn every few minutes. And I know those of you who are watching are wondering, what? This show's kind of rambling, man. Oh, I'm getting a call, and it's a prank call. Should I take it?
No.
Nope, don't think so. Oh, it's somebody wants to give me a job as a quality, that's a quality agent job.
Can you
I'm
hear
more
me
in
now?
line for a Secret Service type of job.
Can you hear me now?
I still can't hear you, Julie, but that's all right. I'm listening, and we'll have you on in just a minute.
I can hear Neil.
I'm trying to get into my own personal
John,
Facebook page right now.
John, can you
See how
hear
this is
me?
going.
Talk to Neil. Talk to Neil.
It isn't going so good because I can't tell if it's going out to YouTube.
Neil, I can hear
let's try
you.
most recent and see if I can see myself. Appreciate you guys standing by with us. You know, the show has been kind of, we have a great reputation for technical. My friend Rick Davis will appreciate this. I'm not going to say it. I was going to say technical rhymes with buggery. Any rate, for those of you who are pondering that, grab the dictionary. It'll be great fun. Again, I'm trying to watch myself to see if I'm on Facebook, and I can't tell. John, speak.
I can hear you,
I could
Neil.
hear him. I don't hear him now, though.
Keep talking.
I can hear Neil, but I can't hear you.
Let me see. Talking about the Halloween and the creepy clown thing, getting back on point, I have not seen anything on television about creepy clowns or them. Oh my God, we had a Johnny jumped in for a second there. That was cool.
He's right here. You can't see him on here?
Johnny and Julie, take a breath and just be cool. I know you guys are working hard. I have to give a great thanks to our producer, Jewel Tate. She's struggling mightily, fighting. I think actually, you know what's happening? Our guest, the paranormal guy, is coming on, and I think I think there's like demonic possession of the microphone. I'm not sure what's going on, but we're having weird technical problems. I don't know. Johnny, can you hear me out there? I think they're screwing with me because we're doing the show today. I mean, seriously.
I can hear you.
I know you can't talk to me because I can't hear you yet. But this is one example of comedy technique where you talk to yourself and read back the audience or your interviewee's response. As it is, all you can do is smile, and I can tell you're there and still working. And Julie's got that look on her face of like more of that random buggery, or rhymes with buggery, excuse me. I am doing my best to clean up my language here. One of my good friends and just all around great guy, Rick Davis. I'm sure if he's watching, he'll be getting a good chuckle today. He was telling me part of the charm of our show is how I've sometimes, for example, one of my best bits that I did was a few months ago, and I was discussing an album that I'd produced in Tampa, Florida called Across Tampa Bay. And I was sitting here and I had it plugged in. My laptop was brand new at that point. I didn't quite know how it operated. So I pop on a CD that I produced. It's got about 30 songs, 20 songs, something like that. And I start playing them. Some of these songs I played on, some of them I wrote or helped write, some of them I produced, and a bunch of them were just some great artists in Tampa Bay. There's too many to name right now. We'll do a whole show about it. But as I'm going through the songs, I'm sitting here and I'm like, I'm totally grooving. And I'm singing, yeah, baby. She came in through the back room window. And there's no music playing in the background. So all they had was my deranged babbling and trying to sing, probably out of key because they didn't hear it. So I do this for at least 6 or 7 songs. And at that point, somebody on the screen catches my eye and they say, "Hey, dummy, you don't have any music. We can't hear it, but we sure like watching you bop around." And so here I am bumbling through the show. And then I try to figure out what's going on. I have to go off camera. And all I can say is if we're going to be adding all this stuff to the YouTube page, anybody who's watching today's rather disjointed show, you will be seeing all of our episodes on Live with Neve on YouTube. It's LIVEWITHNEVE. And yes, that stands for my name. The whole name is Neil Ernest Van Erdy. Don't you forget it. That's right. Don't forget about it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, do you hear me now? Yeah, hello?
Okay, so we've talked ghosts.
Talk to Julie. Can you hear me? Can you hear
As far as elections go, I don't know what to say other than I hope everybody watching does get their choice. It's a personal decision. I think most people have their minds made up by now. I would be amazed in this polarized atmosphere if anybody hasn't made up their mind and or voted yet. So we'll see what happens. Right now, we're getting ready, and we're going to have Johnny Speer back again on Halloween night. We'll also be talking to him live that night, and I'll be running some video from his work. I also have our theme for Halloween this year is Frank Zappa, and musical tradition that he had of playing shows on Halloween night in the New York area. There are fantastic shows over many years, and many of the tribute bands in the States, and I'm talking bands that have members of Frank Zappa's band in them. Of course, Dweezil Zappa's kind of got that pinnacle position because he's Dweezil. However, there's four that I'm aware of that are really good. One led in Tampa, St. Pete area is by the great Jerry Outlaw. Jerry, if you're out there, as always, I'm always respectful and in awe of your playing. And hell, I just like recording with you. You're a good hang in the studio, and hopefully we'll be doing some more of that soon. Jerry Outlaw leads Bogus Pump, which has played in Tampa for decades. They've always had an amazing Halloween show. Next week, I'm going to be talking to all the members of Project Object, which is run by Andre Chumley. He's been a tech for everybody in the world, from Adrian Ballou to Albi Miola. He's a tech for Yes. He takes care of all of their guitar tech stuff. Brilliant player, brilliant guy, really a smart dude. His band Project Object has several members of Frank Zappa's touring band. I will also be speaking to the venerable Ike Willis, who is a member of Frank's band for many, Joe's Garage, that whole period. He will be on with us. I have Scott Schrone of the band Ugly Radio Rebellion. All of the bands I've mentioned have played with Ike, so it's a small community of people who dig Frank Zappa and get his music and understand it. I have a very good friend of mine who knows music inside out, and it was an interesting conversation we had. He said, "I've just never been able to get Frank Zappa." And I said, well, okay.
Can you hear me?
And he told me his experience was he listened to him twice.
I can hear
For whatever
you.
reason at the time. You know, we all like
hear
what we
Neil?
like and we don't like what we
I can hear
don't like.
Neil.
Great. Okay,
so
let's see if we can get
basically,
Neil to hear you.
Listen to these two songs, never really heard it.
Yeah,
You know, it's interesting to me because I know all about
started
syncopated
driving.
jazz
Maybe
and
I was
drumming,
too
and
close.
we talk about jazz a lot. He's a aficionado of
electric
Maynard Ferguson, many other
transformer.
great. He knows his music's what I'm going to say, but I'm hoping to try and wean him slowly into our
Neil,
full.
Neil,
and
can
maybe
you hear me?
Halloween night
Neil,
is
Neil,
cool.
Neil,
Yeah.
Neil, 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 test 1, 2, Neil,
It-
test
it
1, 2,
does.
Neil.
You'll see it.
Neil, can you hear me?
I'm trying to look at the three screens. We're trying to take care of a few things today, and so
Neil, can you hear me?
we're having. This is our first live transmission, and I'm not putting any pressure on Julie or anybody else. We're working to make this happen. Going forward, this
Neil,
show will
can you
be
hear
every Friday at 10
Johnny?
a.m. And everything that happens on this show will then go on the Live with Neve YouTube channel. So if you're a fan of mine, please go to Live with Neve, sign up, like, friend, and share, and if you can, subscribe. I'm trying to I have 4,500 fans, so if just half of you guys will sign up and subscribe, I'll be able to offer a higher level of production for you guys. The show will get better. Right now, we've invested in new infrastructure, which you're watching. This technology is allowing me right now being streamed up to a server, and it's being sent out to all of you guys. If you've watched in the past, we've had technical issues with Facebook dropping out. This won't happen anymore, and I know today's gotten a little unorthodox stop, but the bottom line is, everybody asks, well, why do you do this? Okay, so I'll tell you. COVID hit. I've been in recovery from a bad accident almost 2 years ago, and I've had to kind of reinvent my life due to various issues, which I don't need to go into, and I decided to just start doing a basic video podcast, talking to musicians, comedians, artists, photographers, anybody that I think is cool and has some kind of positive thing going on. I take show ideas if anybody wants to call in and has an interesting show idea, or if you want to be on the show, just hit us. You know where to find us. We're right here on any of the sites you may be watching. You can reach me at nvanerty at me.com. So again, it's nvanerty at me.com. And we've also got, let's see, we're on Facebook, we're on my band's pages. So anywhere that you see this, it's being streamed instantly. We're just new and getting used to it, so there's a few changes, but the one thing you will have fixed, the show will now be able to have 10 guests on at the same time. We'll also be able to have phone-ins. We can run video during the show. If I'm talking to a guest, rather than saying we'll put it into post-production, now I can just sit and run this on a screen. I'll go over to the right, and you'll see me, and you'll see the bands I'm interviewing right here. For example, I'm sitting right now in Red Rocks, Colorado.
Neil, can you hear me?
Really great.
Can you hear me?
Where are you at, Julie? I see you
Can
cracking up.
you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Hello.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yes or no?
I think we're getting definitely poltergeist activity because this thing's just messing with us. But that's okay.
Can you hear me?
We got on the phone who can help us out, hopefully. And as far as all this stuff, I'm sorry.
Can you hear John? Can you hear John?
A lot of times in the past week. I've been getting this to the point, and we have to consider this a win because it's going to all 6 of my pages simultaneously. And it's doing it in real time. And when the show's over, you'll be able to go and watch this forever. I'm sure this is going to be a highlight of your season. And you know what? For Halloween, I'm going to give you a special live recording of me playing with the Shake Society in Tampa. Anybody who signs up, subscribes to the YouTube page gets that. And depending on what kind of donations you make to the Live with Neve page, you can kind of do your donation based on making me perform some stupid human trick on camera. Or if it's a high enough donation to my Patreon page, you never know what I might do. You just have to kind of ask. And sadly, I can see my producer in the background shaking her head going, oh no, this is going to degrade into some sort of abominable adventure that will
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
You're on here, Jules.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I'm very good at reading lips. Can you, how about we do a rip? Everybody out there, yes.
Can.
You know, it was funny when I was in the hospital, I was on a bunch of medication, and it was terrible because a friend came to visit me.
I can hear you, Julie, and I can hear me.
Anyway, I was sitting there, and I was mixing. I was sitting, they have you in a bed with the rails up, and I was on all kinds of medication. And my friend came to visit me, and I was sitting there, just and I was moving faders to my right. I'm looking out the window. He came in from behind me.
John, does there anything that says stop cam mute or cam mic on your screen?
Nearly.
Yeah.
Okay, make sure they're all on where it's all white and they're not yellowed out or crossed out.
I'm sitting there and I'm mixing away.
Yep.
He goes,
It's
okay,
mic
how's
is
it going?
on,
I'm like,
camera's
oh, man, it's
on.
fucking killer.
Great. Okay, perfect.
I'm so sorry,
I can
guys.
hear you, and I can hear Neil. Apparently, he
Great.
can't hear me.
We will put
He
some
can't hear us, so it's on his end.
overlay over my bad word. I am trying to up our game here because I get a little over
Might
enthusiastic.
have to just do this tape delay.
Sometimes that happens.
Yeah, we'll probably do that. Why don't we we'll give you a call back after the show, okay?
Be offensive about some things, but that's a topic for another show.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard half.
Okay, we'll call you after the show, okay?
Okay, I'll talk to you later.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Oh, shoot, I'm having a brain fart. Jennifer Cordy, excuse me. I'm sorry, guys. It's early and I'm still working on my tea. Jennifer Cordy is a wonderful photographer and one of the country, if not the world's experts on time-lapse photography and not time-lapse, but shooting long exposures. I hired her once back about 4 or 5 years ago to do a shot for my band, and we drove up to the Adirondacks. And by the time we went out to shoot, we were waiting for the Big Dipper to come up over the horizon. And we're out there, and we were out shooting in the middle of the night till 3 or 4 in the morning. And it was cold. It was like you have to stand and hold still.
Right? Can you hear me?
When you're holding still, if you move, it ruins the shot. You have this long exposure of yourself sneezing. I don't hear you yet, but I'm watching you.
Can't hear me.
A new Stalker song. How about that?
Can't hear me. Can't hear me?
Try unplugging the mic you're using. Just see if the computer works. I don't know.
Yeah, I did that, but I'll do it again.
Sort of like what Julie, think of yourself as a mime. Rush Limbaugh had his guy Bo Snerdley, but you're the mime version. We had to do that. We had to get a mime for disability regulations. And so Julie's going to go ahead and mime for the camera right now. Oh, how about this? I'll do it. What am I?
Wait, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can't hear you, hon. I'm sorry.
Seriously?
If you can our fans see you, Julie? Because this is fun.
No idea.
Now you can see right now, guys. If I can terrorize Julie. I'll just stop and I'll act like I'm talking, and she'll be looking at me like, "What's up?" And then now she'll get this puzzled look and be like, "Is he on? Is something flummoxed?" I'm going to use the word flummox every time I think of something that's spooked. Now that I did pass that by the censors. Remember, everybody needs to be spooked sometime. I don't know what that really means, but you can use your imagination. In fact, anybody who replies on my YouTube page, I can't see if you guys are on or not. I hope you are. And I'll find out. The good fun about this is I don't know when, I won't be able to hear any of this until I get off the air. So I'm trying, like I said, it's pretty funny for me just sitting here unable to, there's Live with Neve. I'm going to go to the page and we're going to go to, oh, I do see myself. Gosh, this is interesting for me. I want to see if I can get, all right. Any of my friends, oh, you get feedback, Jules? My local friends. If any of you guys are watching this, go ahead. Anybody on Facebook, rather, if you're on there, make a comment if you can hear us. It would really be good. We are testing out all this gear, and at least now I can see what's happening here. As of now, we have 0 people watching, which I understand. This is pretty painful and tedious, but rather than just waste the time sitting here, we're trying to fix a few things. Again, if you'll notice behind me, there's what we call in the business a green screen. And I've got this wonderful photographer photograph behind me of Red Rocks. Red Rocks, it was great. I was working out in Denver for about a year on and off, and I had a day off. And I drove my dumb ass up to Red Rocks, ran down the center aisle, and sang from the stage to the wonderful ambient echo of that place. It's just one of the most fantastic places to play music in the world. I'd love to play there. It's just a great venue, and it's an amazing thing to stand where, even like just thinking about the Beatles and so many great bands, U2. I mean, it is truly a venue that will probably outlast any of us here. And barring any nuclear holocaust or things like that, it's certainly built to last. Someday they'll find it, and it'll be like us looking at a Roman Colosseum centuries later. I have some great pictures which I'll use from when I was in Rome for a backdrop sometime. Because the Colosseum, it looks great in pictures. I can tell you it looks a lot better in person, and it's just remarkable what they did back then. And as far as parallels to society, I suggest Will and Ariel Durant's The History of Civilization. You can read in there about different time periods of history, and it's a good read. Anyhow, I don't see anybody posting, and I know that we're up, but I also know that on Fridays sometimes people are busy. They don't have time to do stuff. We've had some great people on lately. It's just, I'm very lucky the number of people who've said yes to doing an interview. I will also tell you that we have some real interesting interviews coming up. I'm sorry, I'm reading a message. We have some great interviews coming up, which are in negotiation, which I won't tell you other than to say, I believe a lot of you will be really surprised. We might have a very cool guest joining us on Halloween. And if not, I'll be talking to him about my book in Tampa Bay. Hi, Julie.
Hey, can you hear me now?
I don't hear you, but I see you. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
What?
You're going to watch the mother of all ignorance right now. My co-producer is going to kill me. See, you guys got it live. Hey, babe. Oh, man, I'm sorry. I owe you big time.
Yes, dude, I was doing everything. I'm like, I'm pushing. I'm like, okay, it's set to the right microphone. It's set to the right output. It's set to the right everything. And I'm going through all my settings and changing them up. I'm like, I restarted my computer, all of this shit and everything. Like,
I love it. This is hysterical because this is going to go down our first broadcast using all this new technology. And here we are. We're like, I mean, yeah, what? That was fun. I'm sorry. Anybody watching this? I see Shanine Abigail.
Wait.
How you doing, Shannon? Good morning. We're glad you're here, Shannon. We're both cracking up. My poor producer's just been put through hell because of my dumb ass.
What was it that wasn't connected? Your headphones or your
correct. I had you plugged into the monitor instead. I have to get a Y cable. So okay, so why don't you try and get John back on the phone and let's go with this. Is that cool?
Stop laughing for a second. Let me stop laughing.
Oh, okay. All right, guys, you've seen it first. This is a new experience, man. Oh my gosh, I am totally.
I want to add what makes this so funny is that because Neil and I have been working in this industry our entire careers. That's what makes it so funny because we're both completely perplexed and losing our shit. What the fuck is happening?
It's a bloody patch cord. I mean, really. This will go down with the show where I was playing records and singing along to them. People were just cracking up online going, what is this idiot doing? I mean, gosh.
Now you know why people say, is it plugged in?
Well, you know what? That's what we were sitting here, that light went on in my head. I don't know if you play it back, you can probably see me. I just went, why is this not working? And then I went back to what Dan Mockenstern, when you see this, my old teacher at Full Sail, You know, I always remember from you, mate, check signal flow and things like that. So here we are going live. Everything we've been working, like, we get up early and work on this platform every day. And they have no idea. They say, oh, your show sucks. Yeah, sometimes it does because we're just now getting going. And here we are. We've got this huge investment we've made. And I have to say, Julie, you handled this perfectly great under fire. You didn't lose your cool. I could see the desperation in your eyes, and I was just feeling bad. And I'm also, while I'm watching you and John talking, at any rate, why don't you see if we can get John on now, and let's just roll with this.
Let me see it. Hold on. I'm going to text him and.
Okay, and thank you, John, for being a good sport.
All right, hold on.
John Speer he's a paranormal investigator with the Kinsey Paranormal Group. Most of us know as Kinsey is a sex doctor. He had all kinds of fun stuff. He's like grade A pervert out there, but heck, I'm sure some good came out of his research. I'm pretty sure he was amused at home. You can see Julie's now talking to Pete, Julie's in Tampa, Florida, and Pete is somewhere between Orlando and Alabama as we speak. We're going to be talking to Pete about some of the things he had, how he's been called out to these paranormal investigations. And I'm going to try to ask some thought-provoking questions, like how do you get paid? Is it good? The money? And can you do something with me? The bottom line is I've been called possessed by, I don't know, my ex-wife or something, maybe a couple of bandmates. I have, like I said earlier, if you want to be a sponsor of our show, you can make your offer of ask Neil anything, or you can send us money and ask us for me to do a specific dumb human trick. Nothing obscene, fattening, or, well, a little bit of obscenity is okay. At any rate, I see Julie's talking to our guest in beautiful Tampa, and they're both sweltering. I have to say, I'm loving it. I'm looking out the window. Somebody just plooped into the room. I believe it's Johnny. All right. How you doing, Johnny?
Hey, can you hear me this time? Can you hear
Turn
me?
down a little bit, please. Oh, I hear you very well. You got to bring it down a little bit. You're killing me. How about now?
All right, how about that? Is that better?
Yeah, if you can just turn it down a hair more, it'll be great. But yes, you're very good.
All right, how's that?
That's good. Okay, everybody. Here we are live with Neve, and I'm talking to Johnny Speer of Kinsey Paranormal. If you want to reach him, you can reach out to him at kinseyparanormal@yahoo.com.
Again. Where'd you go, Neil?
I'm here. Anyhow, you can turn your mic on. There you go. I hear you. So tell me, Johnny, how did you get into this line of work?
You disappeared.
Can you turn down your monitors and put on your headphones? Because I'm hearing you echo. That's why, and for our listeners, that's got to get weird fourth hand.
Oh, Lord.
I'm sorry. You're on the road. John's a hardworking guy. Can you hear me okay? Okay. Now I hear somebody calling in. Hey, Julie, turn down your mic for a second. I'm gonna ramble for a minute. I think he's on the same line, Jules. I got it now. Hey, Johnny.
Hello?
Hey, Johnny.
Let's just have him on the Let have him talk over the phone. It works. I can see him. It'll record.
I cannot see.
He's getting. We're having right now. If you think about the amazingness that we're broadcasting through satellite, and as a result, it's going up to a satellite, beaming down to his truck. Video, I'm learning as we go, is, hey, Johnny, can you hear us? Oh.
Hello?
Hi, Johnny.
Hey.
Hey,
You hear
listen,
me now?
I do hear you now. How about you just go ahead and shut down? You just can talk over that
Okay.
phone because we can see you. So tell me, John, how did you get started in the paranormal? Tell us about some of your most recent jobs, if you will.
Okay, well, I got started way back in the 70s because like all little children, you see things in the dark. There's things under your bed and all this, that, and the other. I was born in New Orleans, Louisiana, so I grew up hearing about Marie Laveau, the famous voodoo witch. So I just got started following into her and all the magic and stuff that goes on in New Orleans. And it just drew me in, and I've been into it for about 40 years now.
Have you ever had it? Let me ask you, like, how does your family react to your job? Do they support you, or do they think it's unusual? How does that work? Do they enjoy it? I'm just curious how you're received.
Yeah, my wife, she goes with me on a lot of hunts, and John Jr. used to go with me a lot. I think it was 6, 7 years ago, we went to a graveyard in Alabama, and the local TV station from ABC came out with us and was filming us out there. And the cameraman got so scared when he saw some of the phenomenon that he didn't come back the second night. The TV personality had to run his own camera because his cameraman wouldn't come back with him.
So tell me, what did you see manifested? I mean, everybody thinks of a typical ghost. Is that the typical, like, is it like Ghostbusters or Caspers, or what do they look like? I mean, what did he see that freaked him out is what I'm curious about.
They look like they do before, when they are living. They look exactly the same. They got the same personalities, everything else. What happened this night was there was no wind, and by one gravestone they had a Confederate battle flag on it because it was in Alabama. It was just waving to beat the band, and everybody agreed there was no wind. So I went over there and I said, if this spirit's trying to communicate, make the flag stop. Flag instantly fell limp. Cameraman dropped the camera and left the graveyard.
I think it would be great fun. I would terrorize him forever. I mean, if we were closer by, I'd love to come out with one of these with my own crew. And I can assure you, my crew has seen things that nobody's seen. And we aren't going to run, is my point.
Right. That's what I hate about them reality TV shows. They're out there trying to hunt ghosts. As soon as something happens, they're like, oh, we need to leave or run or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The TV shows, to me personally, they're just a joke. I wish they'd invite me on one of them. I'd show them how to ghost them.
I'm curious. How do people find you? Is it word of mouth? Do you advertise? How does that work?
That's mainly word of mouth. People I do jobs for, they tell their friends, and usually a haunting, has been going on for years and years. So, everybody knows about it. It doesn't just happen overnight. Word of mouth gets around.
Do you find that certain have you ever gone out to one and you just determined you thought maybe the people were like out of their mind and they didn't have possession, they were just weird?
One.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
you run up on that. A lot of
Yeah.
people bring you out just to make fun of you. You know, they know nothing's
Wow.
going on, but they'll hide in the closet or something, trying to mess with
Oh
you or
man.
whatever.
What?
That's just
Really?
part of it. You know, got to take the good with the bad. But I
Sure.
guarantee you, the paranormal is real, and one day everybody's gonna be a ghost because everybody gonna die.
I wonder if I
You'll
come
find
back.
out.
I wonder if I came back as a ghost. I have to tell you, it'd almost be fun. I have a lot of people I can just have fun with. I'm not a mean-spirited ghost. I'm more of a smart-ass ghost who I don't know. I would
Right.
probably try and annoy my family, who I love very much, but I just do something that I used to do. And hang on, our host, our producer Julie has a couple of questions for you. Julie, I'm sorry, I've been
Okay.
running my mouth. Come on board.
Oh, no, no, no. That's okay. You answered a lot of the questions I had. Uh, um, what was it that I was going to ask you? Now I forgot, John. Well, have you experienced something really? I mean, there's no doubt in your mind that it is a spirit. Have you experienced something so intensely, is I guess what I'm asking, that you just, it just blew your mind?
Oh yes, ma'am. That's why we're just now restarting with Kinsey Paranormal. We used to be a nationwide group called Southern Spirit Seekers, and we got involved in a full-blown demonic possession, and three or four people, they still haven't got over it. And me and my wife, we stepped away from the paranormal for about 8 years because of all the stuff that was happening to us because we got involved in that one case. And now we feel like it's safe to come back, but we're going to just start over with a new name and a new attitude about it. I've been to school and studied demonology, so now I know how to deal with demons plus poltergeist and normal
Well,
everyday ghosts. I believe we can handle it more now than we could 8, 9 years ago when we was just getting started.
Sure, sure. Yeah, makes sense.
I'm curious. Have you, when you've seen, like, what happened that time 8 years ago? Were you successful in getting rid of the spirit or the entity, if you will?
Yes, we got rid of the entity, but it seemed to follow us, which we at that time we was young and wasn't really knowing what we was doing. You know, we was kind of playing like a lot of people do, and we didn't know how to protect ourselves at that time. So the entity latched on to all of us in the group, and we
How
finally
do you
got
protect
rid of it.
yourself?
Well, you protect yourself with prayer, anoint yourself with sage smoke before you go into these situations. I always have a bottle of holy water in my shirt pocket. I have a bottle of olive oil from the Mount of Olives in Israel, and I got a cross made out of an olive tree from the Mount of Olives in Israel that was handmade special for me by monks over there. So I'm pretty well protected wherever I go now.
May I ask you, John? Now, I know you do demonology as well. You say you've been doing this for about 40 years. Have you ever run into the Warrens or worked with them, Ed and Lorraine Warren? Uh, did you ever work with them, run into them at all, or?
No, I've never run into them personally, but I have spoken to them and exchanged letters with them, and they're
Oh, great.
one of my teachers that taught me some of the things that I needed to really learn, especially about the demonic. Ed Warren was a real great teacher, and Lorraine Warren, she was one of the sweetest women you'd ever meet, but I never met them face to face, but through letters and phone calls, we got to be pretty close.
That's amazing. That's incredible. Congratulations. That's just, I'm envious of that because I'm fans of theirs. And They just seem like really cool, really great people. I watched the documentary with Lorraine, and the youngest child from the Amityville Horror House, talking about all of that. They came in and tried to, and tried to
Right.
cleanse the house, all this stuff. I mean, they both just seem like the kindest people, and they work, just wanted to help keep people safe and in the I guess in a heavenly place, or a or peaceful place, whatever you believe.
I'm curious, John. Have you?
Right. Yeah,
Go
they was
ahead.
very down to earth people. They
Yeah.
never.
No, it's okay.
Go
I'm
ahead,
sorry I
Neil.
interrupted. It's okay. Carry on. I
Neil, did I lose?
interrupted by accident.
Go ahead, John.
I was going to just say they was very down to earth people. They never defrauded anybody. They never charged anybody any money, and they always was there just specifically to help. There was no gratitude or anything paid to them like some of these ghost hunters do. It was like our organization, totally free. We're there just to help, and that's the only reason they existed. That's the only reason we exist.
Sure. And I understand, everybody's got to make a living too on top of it. So, I mean, that's got to be difficult, but it's got to be, I mean, God bless you for being able to, do offer your services for free. I mean, that's wonderful.
Has
I
anyone ever
drive a
given
freight
you?
truck to make a living.
Have you ever had someone give you a good bonus for actually solving the case and just being so overwhelmed that they were generous?
I've had a few offer, but we have turned it down
Oh,
because
wow.
I figure if we take money one time, that's going to be used against us. Oh, you did that for this, and this.
Well,
Our
that's
organization don't want to be known for that. We want to be known for helping people that's having spiritual problems and to make their lives easier and better.
So aside from some of the things you shared, um, what other experiences have you had? Now, I know you said New Orleans. I'm a big fan. In fact, before the show, Neil and I were talking about New Orleans and so a couple experiences I had over there. But where else have you been? Have you been to any of the I guess some of these places, like this haunted house in gosh, where is it, Connecticut or wherever, that demon house? You know what I'm talking about. And the dude
Yeah,
from what's his name from
is
Ghost
it
Adventures?
Beetlejuice?
No, Ghost Adventures bought it. What's his name? You know who I'm talking about, John, right? You know what I'm
the
talking
Win,
about?
you talking about the Winchester House out in California?
No, no, no. This one was like in Connecticut. It was called like the Demon House. The Ghost Adventurers went there, and what's his name? I just had it.
They probably
The
saw
main
their
guy.
tax bill.
Well, yeah, the main guy bought the main guy. Ghost Adventurers bought the house so they could, constantly inspect it
Oh,
for
yeah.
demon,
The
activity.
one Ed and Lorraine Warren did. They made the movie Haunted in Connecticut. No, I've never been to that house.
Maybe, yeah, maybe that's what it is. Yeah, yeah, okay. So, but
Uh,
that makes my
As far as
question moot now.
famous houses, I've been to the Myrtles Plantation in Louisiana.
Yep.
I'm curious.
Been
Have you
to the
ever? Is there?
Worley House outside of Pennsylvania. Go ahead, Neil.
I'm curious. Have you ever just had a case
Neil,
that
did I
was
lose
so
you?
scary and? No, I hear you. Can you hear me now? Hello. My question is,
Yeah.
have you ever had a house that was
Yep.
just so difficult that you just hauled ass and said, "I can't do this. I'm scared. I'm fearful for my safety, and I better get my wife and I out of here."
John, did we lose
No,
you?
not at this point. We haven't. I'm more scared of people than I am ghosts. Like that picture I sent you the other day with that dagger that I found in the graveyard. The
Right.
only reason I didn't continue investigating the graveyard is I didn't know where the people that dropped that knife was. It wasn't because I was scared of the ghosts. I was scared these people that morning in the dark, you know. But that's what I worry about is
Tell
people,
us the
you know, when
story.
you go out to a strange graveyard or something.
I was just showing our viewers the knife
Which
that you
one
had
about the
found.
knife?
Yes. Why don't you tell them about that episode and what happened?
Well, I was stopped for the night. I drive a truck, so I stop at night. I found a graveyard. People said they had a lot of stuff happening out there, and I went out there and I heard voices, and I was like, "Wow, I ain't even in the graveyard, and I'm already getting EVP." Come to turn out, it was a group of
Can you explain
people.
what is an
Don't know what they
EVP?
was doing, but when I walked up, dropped that knife and disappeared. I don't know if they was trying to do a sacrifice or whether they was going to cut themselves and do a blood ritual or what, but they dropped the knife and ran. So I picked it up and just left with their knife so they couldn't come back and do what they was going to do. If they want the knife, they can come find me.
When you were there,
Did I lose you again, Neil?
for a minute there, I couldn't hear. I was having a little breakup on my end. But when you went there that night, can you maybe explain it once again? I understand that you heard some noise and then found the knife that we have shown.
Yeah, I walked up and they was standing by a tombstone. They had a pentagram drawn on the ground. It was burning black candles around the pentagram, but for some reason, either I scared them or they was nervous or whatever, but they dropped the knife and left. So I just knocked their candles over and took the knife and I left so they couldn't come back and complete the ritual whatever they was trying to do.
Wow. I know I lived in Florida and there's a lot. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, I just said I still have the knife and it's going to go in my collection at the house of objects that I've found during paranormal activity places I've been to.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you keep those in a sacred or a safe spot like the haunted objects guy who was also connected to Lorraine and Ed Warren, and like they have their own. I know they have a secret room or not a secret room, but a room that they keep all their haunted items in. Do you do the same thing?
Yeah, we keep them in a specific closet. And every time I go home, we bless the closet and anoint it with holy water so to protect everything in there. And we never touch it with our skin. We either wear rubber gloves or wrap it in a handkerchief so we're not allowing anything to come off of that object and actually touch our skins where it can attach to us.
Gotcha. Okay, so how many objects do you think you have so far? Do you know? I mean,
Well, right now, since we're just getting started, we only have 3 objects right now.
oh,
I sent Neil a video of us burning one of them because it was a wallet and it was made out of actual human skin, so we destroyed it.
good for you. That was a good.
And tell us the circumstances in this case.
Okay, this lady it just happened to be my daughter, but I won't name her because everybody know which daughter. I got several. And she moved into a house, and the owner left a box in the house, and she called him and told him. He said, "No, I don't want it. Do something with it. Throw it away." And she kept seeing stuff coming in and out of that closet, and at night she said somebody would stand over her bed and feel like she was suffocating. So I was on the road and I said, well, it's something small and it's in that closet. She knew exactly what I was talking about. And we went and we found 2 documents that were signed in blood, and then they was put inside the wallet, which was made
Any
of
money?
human skin. So we took them out in her driveway, burned them.
Was there any money in it?
No, it's just a wallet to protect them papers.
And hey, what about? I mean, would you actually take money from a haunted wallet? I mean, that kind of seems like you're asking for trouble.
You know, I've always been asking for trouble, Julie.
And we've been. Yeah, Neil acts like he's that type of person that you got to keep an eye on.
Well, it's been said by, I think my ex-wife is
Keep one
convinced
eye
that
on
I'm
him.
possessed.
It could be possible. I'll come by and take care of it for you if you want me to.
Yeah.
You know, I'll tell you what, next time I'm down, I might come by and do it. You never know. My ex-wife, she swears I was possessed, but, you know, I think the devil got into her a little bit too. At least when I first knew her.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, I can feel. That's
I love
nice.
all
She'll
my-
come back and get you.
That's good. Well, do you have any plans coming up with Halloween? Is that a particularly busy period of the year for you guys?
Yes, it gets pretty hectic around Halloween. It seems like that's the only time anybody thinks about ghosts and stuff like that. But they're there all the time, you know. And it doesn't have to be on Halloween. Halloween's more about witches than it is about ghosts. But people connect the two together. But you can find a ghost anytime, any place.
Yeah, it's from what my research. I'm a huge paranormal person, but yeah, I found that during Halloween, because it's October 31st is exactly 6 months from spring, and so when and as Celtics believed and everything like that, then that kind of the veil between our world and the spirit world is thinner on Halloween, and that's why it becomes more of a sacred holiday where people, not like yourself and other people who are amateurs who go out and try to do their own ghost hunting and get their own EVPs, which are voice phenomenon, electronic voice phenomenon, right? Yep.
Yeah. Yeah,
Have you
voice
ever heard?
phenomenon.
I'm sorry, say that again.
I was going to ask you. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Oh, it's called electric voice phenomenon. Is what EVP stands for, because they usually speak in such a higher tone. Only the recorder can pick it up. The human ear can't pick it up. Sort of like a dog whistle,
Tell me, like, do you know what frequencies those are? I'm pretty well versed in the physics of sound. Have you ever actually heard a ghost manifest itself in a? We all have this image on television of this demonic possession, but is it like that, or is it more subtle? Is it?
Yeah, it's usually a light whisper, sort of, and usually you have to, have your earbuds in and all that. But they got a thing called a ghost box.
I was just going to ask about that. Do you have a spirit box?
No, I don't. Because, the spirit box is basically a radio that changes frequency just as fast as it can change frequency. And when it picks up ghost voice, it stops on that frequency and you can hear the ghost talk to the speaker. But I'd prefer to record it. That way, I still got it on tape. For most of the ghost boxes, you hear it and that's it. You can't save it or download it or record it or anything.
What if you were to slow it down? If we played it back, would it have some message to it?
Some do, some don't. Some of them's just one or two words, because they have to have energy to manifest. So they get their energy from your batteries on all the equipment you bring in. And if people's fearful, they feed off of that fear. but they can't just manifest to manifest. They have to actually have a energy conduit to grab a hold to get the energy to appear.
What is the difference between a ghost and a poltergeist? I would assume, just being a layman, that a ghost or a poltergeist is sort of an invisible ghost that likes to throw shit around.
Yeah, the word poltergeist is a German word that stands for noisy ghost.
Mm-hmm.
And they usually are not really per se a ghost. They're actually emotions from people coming into puberty when all your hormones is all messed up and this, that, and the other. And when these people get mad and, you know, be like, oh, I could just do this, and this, the energy from their mind is what actually moves that object or throws that object around. And usually when they grow up and they're past puberty, the poltergeists will usually disappear because they no longer can feed off of that teenager's emotions.
Right. Well, I know when I was a teenager, I had all kinds of bad spirits following me around. I was in all kinds of trouble. I once got paddled in it. I got paddled in school. I grew up in New England boarding school. And when I went down south my last year, I'm sure that the dean who paddled me, he knew I had the devil in him. And I didn't believe that when you get a paddling that it would be anything much. I will assure you that was the last time anybody's ever paddled me unless I asked for it. I'm sorry.
I know the feeling.
He sat me down on the desk and said, what do you want, 3 days or 3 licks? And I said, well, I'll take 3 licks. That sounds pretty good. Apparently he didn't find my sense of humor very good. And being a kid from New York and Plant City, Florida, he found my sense of humor not very funny. But it's interesting to me. Go ahead. Have you had a paddle?
Oh, yeah. I was raised real good by the Board of Education.
Oh, my guy he had holes drilled in it. I think he beat the spirit out of me that day.
Yeah, we had people walk the halls where I grew up in South Mississippi back in the 60s and 70s. They put it on you. But by them doing that, we also went to school with rifles and shotguns in our pickup trucks, and nobody pulled them out and shot nobody.
Yeah, it was definitely a different time then. I'm curious, is there any way to physically, for somebody who's being menaced by a ghost, if they don't have your services, what would you recommend them to do?
Well, you can smudge your own house, which you just get white sage. You can order it off the internet at whichever place you want to order it, and you just walk around, and whatever your belief is, you pray in your belief while you let the smoke drift around the rooms, but leave a window or a door open, and the spirit will usually leave through the open entry that you leave for them to leave by.
Interesting. Boy, I probably need a bunch of saging in my car. I jokingly say that because I get in trouble all the time driving too fast. I'm just joking with you. You know, in all seriousness, what happens to somebody who's just tried all these things and they don't know how to get a hold of you? Like, have you had cases where people call you just terrified?
Yeah. We had one woman, somebody told her where I live at, and I swear I thought she was going to break down the door trying to get into my house at 2 o'clock in the morning. But we went over there, and she had a mess. She actually had a demon in her house. We exorcised the house, which only made it worse because we didn't know we didn't do a full exorcism. So we came back again and did a second exorcism and found what was causing the problem. Her daughter had a Ouija board between her mattress and box spring. And when we removed the Ouija board from the house, all activity quit.
What would they do, the typical, with a Ouija board? What's up with that thing?
It's a board where you can communicate with spirits, but 9 times out of 10, the spirit you're communicating with is not who you think it is. It's actually a demonic entity that's trying to fool you and get you to invite them into your life. And once you give them permission to come into your life, you've opened the door and they can legally walk in.
Wow. Well, I've always had an open door policy in my house that may explain things.